Good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC here in a moment, but first, the disclaimers and the trigger warnings. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links are going to be there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the link for Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject. Pretty much a large collection of all receipts in regards to the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center. We also have the link in there for Neuroclastics article where they surveyed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. The very same one that the JRC threatened Neuroclastic a defamation lawsuit over if they didn't remove it from the website. Neuroclastic obviously refused, so folks, read the article and share it. Also, we have the link in there for Neuroclastic's GoFundMe, just in case the JRC ever does see through with their threat, because unlike the JRC, we do not have access to unlimited sums of money. If you could add a little in there, I know Neuroclass would definitely appreciate it. If you can't, please go ahead and share it. Trigger warnings: when we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and utilize the headphones. Also, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We do use profanity and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision is very much advised. So we're going to go over a very small part of the paragraph that we were just reading. And then I've got a few things that I'm going to want you to think about. So let me go ahead and read it first. The FDA acknowledges that this cohort of patients exists, but would ban ESD treatment for them nonetheless, with no exception, and thereby place these patients at an unnecessary risk of tragic health consequences. The main debate in regards to this device is this insistence that there is a subpopulation of autistics and other individuals out there that are somehow miraculously resistant to every single other form of therapy or treatment programs or medications out there to treat self-injurious behavior and aggressive behavior. And that if you remove the GED device, that the JRC believes that there is no other program out there to address those issues that can lead to something very tragic happening. On the surface, that sounds reasonable. That is for the layman. For those of us who've worked in the field, there is a whole lot of missing context and missing information that the JRC is not putting in. Let's start with what we know. In regards to the individual parents who have spoken out in regards to the JRC, in a survey that we've actually gone over on this channel before, and we do have multiple videos on it, parents were asked if after the diagnosis of their child, before their child was put into any type of intervention program or program to help with SIB and AB, if there was a full functional behavioral assessment that was conducted first. Every single parent in that survey had never even heard about having a full functional behavioral assessment done until long after they had pulled their kids out of the JRC. Okay? So what does that tell us? What is the point of the full functional behavioral assessment, and why is it so extremely important? And why am I so absolutely adamant that that assessment has to take place first before discussions in regards to interventions or treatment programs or even medications even begins? It is because of the vital information to be gleaned from that assessment after it's being conducted. It provides a blueprint, as it were. It highlights exactly where all the difficulties are. It also shows where all the strengths are. What are things that can be built on, as well as where the problem areas are. Why is that information important? Because not every single residential treatment / school program is the same. They may have focuses in different things. If you're going in there without an assessment, if you're going in there just almost picking at random, you don't have that information to help make the most educated decision in regards to such a treatment program. It's like playing Russian roulette. Trying a school and praying a Hail Mary. Okay? You can't expect a school, no matter how highly accredited or how high a success rate, to be able to assist a child who may have a lot of strengths in the areas where that school specializes more in helping the individuals who have trouble in those areas. And that school may have no expertise in the areas where that child may have extreme difficulties. That's why that assessment is so damn important. Not all these programs are the same. Without that information at your fingertips, it's no wonder that these kids get sent from school to school to school and nothing's working. That's not surprising at all. How do you know to even know what to work on if you don't know specifically where the problem areas are? What we do is SIB and AB. That is an offshoot of the problem. It is not the underlying cause that is triggering the behavior. Okay? If you don't figure out what's causing the behavior, what the difficulty is, then you don't have a way to be able to combat it directly, or even to come up with a plan to combat it directly. It's like going to a battlefield having no battle strategy whatsoever. How do you think that's going to go? Exactly. Right? So, if these kids didn't get a full functional behavioral assessment completed before being put into any type of intervention or residential/school program. It is no wonder why people kept kicking the can down the road. Now, I don't like using that analogy because we are human beings who deserve sane health care and mental health care. The analogy has to do with passing the potato. You know what I'm saying? This is why the JRC says that these parents tried everything and nothing worked. Because what's happening is you're sending these kids to these schools. You're providing these schools with no information. That is the other purpose of the full functional behavioral assessment. It's not just for the parents to make the best educated decision in regards to intervention, residential, or school programs. It's also for the schools themselves, so that they can take a look before the child's even enrolled, because it might be the case where you have the school look at it and be like, actually, no, we don't really specialize in these areas, but they provide references for schools that do. This is something that takes place at places like here in town, Rivendell, that I acted as a consultant on when they were first proposing the idea and getting everything put together over a decade ago. Right? So the teachers are going in blind too. You understand how that's just a recipe for a mess, right? There's no game plan. There's no strategy. We don't even know what's triggering this. We're just seeing increasing intensity in these behaviors, and we've got bupkis to battle it with. Right? Okay. That's number one. Number two, the JRC has repeatedly, demonstratively shown us over and over and over again that they have no idea what actual positive behavioral supports even actually mean. They think positive behavioral supports is an overall treatment program. It is not. It is an umbrella term under which sits a bunch of different types of treatment programs, such as person-centered planning, person-centered therapy, self-determination, PT, OT, positive behavioral reinforcement. You see what I'm saying? If they can't even get that much right, how are we supposed to genuinely believe the JRC when they tell us that all the other therapies and medications have been tried, but only the GED device works? You can't. Because when it's talking about these other therapies, they're not even familiar with them. They don't know how to utilize them whatsoever. And this has become increasingly clear more and more every single year. So again, with the JRC not really even understanding or comprehending what positive treatments even are, how are we supposed to believe that none of them are going to work to help these kids with their SIB and AB? We don't. Because it's never been tried yet. Right? And number three, this is the biggest one. There are millions of us neurodivergents, millions of us developmentally disabled, millions of us with mental health issues all over the world. Yes, some of us are a bit more resistant to different programs. I'm not going to tell you that's not a thing. It very much is. In my office with those individuals, we would take those plans and customize them even more, cater to the individual's specific difficulties, which may mean you're not doing a mainstream thing, but you're not going JRC either. You may take something here from this program that seemed to work, but where it wasn't working, you can take a little bit from this plan over here and put it in there, while also making sure there's a good circle of support. This circle of support has saved my bacon over and over again. Yes, even today, being 40 years old, they're still saving my bacon. Okay? What that is everyone within your support circle constantly and always having an open line of communication with one another. Your psychiatrist is talking with your psychologist. They're both speaking with your neurologist. They're speaking with, if you need it, I no longer do these days, but if you need it, they're speaking with your case managers. If you're living in an assisted living department, it's going to include, if you need it, direct care staff, or back in the day, my community integrators was a part of that circle of support. But it extends out, because I would bring my bosses in to that circle of support. Remember, the job programs through ARC. My job coaches were a part of that circle of support. Everybody, open lines of communication all the time, what everyone is seeing, everybody on the same page. You see where I'm going there? Ah. So that's what I'm talking about, folks. And that circle of support becomes vital if you are in a situation where someone is more resistant and you do need something that is a bit more customized, because that big circle of support can come together. Brainstorming. We're taking what doesn't work, what does work. We're taking in the observations of other people from different parts of your life. Right? Yeah. Granted, these days, I'm older now. Thanks to that circle of support from late teens going into my 20s, it's essentially these days me, my mom, my brothers, my stepdad, neurologist, psychiatrist, and psychologist. Everything else I've gotten pretty good underway, right? But you see what I'm saying here. The numbers don't work because there's too many of us for them to continue to say that for the kids at the JRC, nothing else would work. Because even if it is a 0.01% part subpopulation of folks who are neurodivergent, that would still mean that you would have international folks blowing down the JRC's doors to get their kids in there if they're that resistant to every other form of treatment for SIB and AB. And folks, that isn't happening. So why isn't it happening? What are all of us doing that is different from what the JRC is doing to help those that are part of that subpopulation. And why is the JRC, of all places, not looking into that, seeing their success, and beginning to implement that instead? Now, that being said, folks, I know I kind of roundabout talked in circles there, went down left field, took a left turn, and then went to the left of smog and came back again. I apologize for that. It happens sometimes. But we got back to the point here. So we're going to go ahead and close out. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So folks, if you could, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Please don't forget to get the comments. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea absolutely do hope you have a good one. We will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.